And we're live. Let's give it a minute. I had to run over to StreamYard. I don't know what happened to Streamlabs. I thought I had it set up. And it did not work. That's what I get for just playing around and not knowing what I'm doing. Oh, I'm trying to see if... And it did not work. All right, we're live. That's what I get for just playing around and not knowing what I'm doing. So what happened to... Oh, I'm trying to see if... Turn that down. I see I got no camera. That may be the problem last time. Why is not the camera working? I'm looking at myself. This damn camera works all the time. Why not tonight? Wow. If this isn't the cat's meow tonight with everything effing up. What in the hell? Camera. There's nothing covering my camera. What is going on? Stuck with. Orientation settings are disabled while live. Blah 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 blah. Light automatically add stage display. Blah blah blah. Oh, come on. Why isn't it using the camera? This is just fucking peach. No, won't. Can you see me, Laura? Right now? Say something in the chat, because I'm looking through my tablet and it's not. Sounds good, but can you see me? So you can see me, but I can't see myself on the damn tablet. That's the thing. I'm looking down at my tablet to do a preview, and It's not showing me on there. Okay. So if you guys can see me, if anybody's watching, I screwed that up. Screwed up this week's live stream. What do you know? Congratulations to me. For I don't know what the hell happened with the Streamlabs, so I went over to StreamYard. So sounds good, looks good. She can see me. If the rest of you, if anybody's here, can see me, just let me know. Oh, there we go. Right on, right on. Okay. The light is green and everything is good. Lighting's good. I see myself down here now. I don't know what happened on Streamlab. So I appreciate it. I see two in the live. So here we go. Oh, let's see. Did I do? Let's see. I'm gonna do one thing here. I'll just have to go in and re-edit all the description and everything. So we got slammed Thanksgiving, the middle of December with snow. Then up to 3 feet of snow accumulated. Then over the holiday, New Year's break, or no, what was it? After New Year's, week after New Year. Then we get 60-degree weather and all that snow we got's gone. Then last week, the wife was saying, hey, we're going to get, she keeps me informed on the weather. And I shoveled a little bit of snow on Saturday, went and got groceries. And I said, well, should be good to go. Then it snowed again Saturday night, which was probably about 4 inches of snow. And she said it's going to be below zero. We're going to be seeing temps between -20 and -30 at home. I am down in Covington, Virginia at the Loves. And she was saying they got snow coming in last night, and it's been going and going and going. We've gotten over a foot of snow, and 5 miles from my house, lo and behold, this afternoon, after I'd already had the live stream set up, is that 196 100 vehicle pileup is 5 miles from my house, right off the exit where I come in when the exit where I come in to go home. So that happened. And that's why I take this route down here. It's been blue skies, 40 degrees, dry roads, no snow. I've had great weather since I left. Yeah, the roads were plowed Sunday morning. I got on the road at 4:30 in the morning, but I could still run the speed limit. Now, everything's just locked up there. And it may end up being it's -8 now. Yeah, Laura's in the chat, and say hi to Laura in the chat there. So with that all said, I expect it to be a shit show when I get back, to the point I may have to go back out with what hours I may have to help out, because I think a lot of guys are going to be in our company are going to be struggling to get through the days of their, through their routes. The routes are set up pretty much. You go out for the beginning of the week, go out for an overnight. So you got a full day's run, stay out overnight, and then finish up your next day, then get back to the yard, then go and grab another trailer and go out and do another route. Oh, excuse me. I'm the furthest one. I commute from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Most of those guys are hovering around like the Chicagoland, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. And then I'm down out on the East Coast and down south. So I go out and I just stay out for the whole week. but it may trip these guys up where I may have to step in and help out somewhere somehow. Not sure yet. Today's only Monday. Tuesday's going to happen. But I will say that if there's two things I hate about trucking the most is everyone's driving out there. The American drivers in the cars. That and the weather. It's the two things I hate. Now, I know we can't do anything about the weather. I don't mind rain and that jazz, but when it gets to be like we just had from our house on 196 is the snow and the ice and the accidents, and another YouTube channel reported on that accident. And I commented in there, because they were asking, should CBs be more mandated in these trucks so drivers can talk from one truck to another and not just cell phones. Cell phones were like, so I can call home and all that instead of stopping the truck and going out and using a payphone and all that jazz. But I really think the communication needs to happen out here between trucks to get alerted when there's a pile up, an accident, maybe, and a lot of times for me, the CB here has helped in the Appalachian Mountains with anything going on. The thing of it is when you get into the narrow roads, the switchback roads, a lot of the coal haulers and back road haulers will let you know, like a heavy rain will either flash flood and or soften the roots and a tree will fall across the road, and then you're stopped and stuck there till someone cuts it up and pulls it away. That's happened. I've had it to where I could hear the chatter going on and then chime in and say, oh yeah, up here 20 miles down the road there was a couple vehicle pile up, or a semi truck and a car pile up, and they got the highway shut down because there's a fatality. When that happens and they got to do the investigation, they shut the highway down. I can't tell you how many times I've had that happen on I-69 between Anderson, Indiana and Gaston. Twice there, twice out on I-81 from Roanoke to Christiansburg in that construction zone there, that I've had to slide around the Roanoke, the bypass through town, instead of sitting up there for an hour and a half sitting on the highway. So there's that. Of course, CB's there for police reports. But the big thing is traffic update and jazz like that. And yet there's people out there say, well, CBs don't work. Why do you need the CB? No one's using it. It's just one of those things we used back in the day. And but everyone, you watch these trucks go by and everyone is got their headset, and they're chatting away with their loved ones, girlfriend, what have you, or they're listening to music, because a lot of them will have their Beats, full headset on. I just don't know how that's legal when you can't hear any fire or rescue coming up or going by you. But that's just where I've been cutting the cloth of things. And a lot of folks, they prefer to have that, don't bother me, blah, 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 and that's fine. But the ignorance is so a bliss out there, even at the few islands, it's gotten horribly bad, where everyone's put on blast on YouTube and all social media platforms. I'm just watching this guy back in next to me. You never know who you're going to get backing up a truck. He seems to be doing all right, but it's pretty tight in here. So, everyone's diving in for the night. But anyhow, the weather. I heavy hauled a lot in Michigan through a shit ton of snow. And it didn't bother me in my 20s and 30s so much. But as I've gotten older, the novelty of winter, a white Christmas and all that, I'm over it. Uh, don't care for it. I'm counting the days down as I posted in the um, previous stream thumbnail. There is 6 weeks. Once I hit about the middle of January, end of January, then I'm counting down those 4 weeks in February to get myself into the 1st of March. For us in Michigan, it's two things happen then in the first week of March. Is spring thaw starts hitting, especially if we've had a cold winter. The ground's going to be heaving up. But the other thing too is then the DOT puts frost laws. So say for instance, if you're allowed to scale, like these trucks are good, able to scale 40 tons, 80,000 pounds, and you get on a B road that's what they call a seasonal road, where they will cut the tonnage down. I got another guy backing in on the opposite side of me. But then they'll say, well, you're only allowed to haul 20,000 pounds on this load until the ground dries up, which could be, usually it's about the middle or the 3rd week of April. They lift all the load restrictions. But with Michigan, you're allowed to haul 8-axle trailers, 160 on up of gross vehicle weight. But boy, will that kill you, especially if you're doing equipment moving or anything like that. Like in the spring, before frost laws hit, you need to be getting your shit together. So if you're on a job, especially up north in the back roads, and you want to make it through at least 2-3 months, you need to get your equipment off there before the roads get load limited, and get yourself down. Sometimes we get equipment, do tub grinding for power station fuel, grinding old pallet grindings to slab wood and sawmills. We'll get ourselves positioned like Grand Rapids, Detroit area in Michigan. We had 2 1,300 Moorbark tub grinders, and with those, then we could sit and just the guys would usually go and front run it and start getting pallet grindings for about 2-3 days. Then we'd go in with about 3 trucks and start hauling them, loading up, hauling them to the power station. Power station's usually always on Class A roads, so there wasn't no restrictions. But you have to think ahead and know that stuff's coming to get yourself ready for when that happens. And it's just a pain in the ass in Michigan. And that's the other thing too with Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, not so much. They've done better, but they got the split speed limit, 60, 65 for the trucks, 70 for the cars, that crap going on. It's like, just knock it off. But, it's your bureaucrats running a damn shit show there. But we say for me down here, I'm not dealing with any load limits. I am dealing with a lot of state highways that will be posted, especially in West Virginia and the Appalachians, where they'll say this, even though it's labeled as a state road, which should be truck passable, it'll say this road is not suitable for passing for commercial motor vehicles. And the reason is the switchbacks are so tight, you're just going to drop your trailer. You're going to drop your trailer off the edge of the road, trying to make the turn. I talked to a wrecker driver from Elkins, West Virginia. The Elkins truck service, they got wrecker service there, and he was telling me they had to go up. They had to come around the mountain, back up, and follow this guy around the hill because they couldn't bring him down. So they had to pick his trailer up from the rear, slide it over on the road until he got to the next curve, then pick it up, slide it over. He said that guy was like $20,000 bill when they got done, getting them through about 5 or 6 turns, and because he was trying to bypass or get around the way station. So that cost him so dearly. But for me, I'm not a fan of the snow and the ice and the cold. And, as I've told you guys, we're definitely positioning ourselves to be in a warmer climate in the future. The novelty of living in Michigan and dealing with the winters is not for me. You can keep your snowmobiling and your snowboarding. If I want to snowboard, I'll go somewhere and go snowboard, and then I'll get on a plane and go back and not live on top of the tundra. Um, but it's definitely one of those don't care about it. But how are you guys feeling about the winters? And have any of you gotten stuck in like the 196? See, I was kind of surprised when I was told 196 right outside of our house was all piled up with 100 cars. Because what was it? Almost 200 cars that were piled up on I-94 between Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, which I-94 is notorious in Michigan for traffic pileups. Any more than I-80 is out from Wyoming, Nebraska, and Iowa, all that area for trucks getting blown off the road or just getting, snowed in where they can't move. So just a crying shame. But then again, if you know something's going to happen, you got the cell phone technology, you got all that technology, you should know or have alerts set up to at least know what the weather's going to be doing, so like 6 hours from now and jazz. So you're like, 6 hours down the road, what's the weather going to be like in that area I'm going to be passing through? Should you stop and bunk down, get a safe haven to park your truck and at least have your tanks fueled up and, have some food on hand and make sure you got warm clothes. I mean, I got everything here, but I'm not too worried. But you'd be surprised how a lot of guys just wing it. And it's pretty scary, that they just assume everything's going to go smooth as pie and nothing will happen to them. And they'll make it to the next, stop off. They can get food there and all that jazz. And it's like today, I drove right by the rider shop. I mean, I literally drove right by their driveway entrance when I was in Charleston. So I said, I'm going to put fuel in. That was 125 gallons, and I hadn't even hit 800 miles up to that point. So my fuel mileage really dropped off by about 2 miles to the gallon. With the cold temps I dealt with Sunday, really chewed up my fuel. And especially being in the mountains the last half of the day on Sunday. But even today, my fuel mileage isn't doing much better than 6.5, 6.7 right now just because of the hills. But it should taper off. I'm just over half unloaded. I'll probably be down to about a quarter of a load by the time I come out of Martinsville, Virginia tomorrow. So that should help when I crawl back up. I got a few stops up in Ohio. They're warning a lake effect snow, high winds, and whiteout conditions. People are ignorant. Yes, and that's just the world we live in. People just take things for granted that it can't happen to them. It won't happen to them. And assumption is the evil of all fuck-ups in life. Never assume. Always have your facts and always be prepared. But yet, people will continue to go on and say, well, I don't need a CB. I don't need this. Well, all right, genius. Wouldn't it be smarter, because, having that debate on one of the channels about having a CB, it's like, I would rather be more prepared and have more tools on hand to prevent myself from being stranded or put in a bad situation. And yet, here we are, 100 vehicle pileup. How many of these trucks on the Indiana and Ohio Turnpike, when I come out on Sundays, and they're always the freaking Volvos, flipped over. These guys overdrive because they're overconfident and they overdrive what the truck can do because they think the computer's got it, nothing can go wrong, blah blah blah. And that's why I think, with these guys, this company Kodiak pushing for this autonomous trucks, I'm like, have at her, Haas. By the time that shit's full blown out here, I'll be sitting on my porch smoking a stogie before I ever have to go bumper to bumper with those, that shit. Because high winds, adverse weather, snow and ice, what are they going to do? They're going to have to shut those trucks down because these damn things already have sensors on them, and they fail as soon as the ice and snow builds up on them. And then you take back control of the truck. All the mitigation, all the adaptive cruise, everything is wiped out. It canceled it out, so it puts the truck back in my hands, and the screen will turn red and say everything is interfered with. So to me, it's like just more shit to fuck with these sensors, and yet these guys, I like my sensors. I like having all the computer because, well, that's your generation. We didn't have the accidents back then, but yet here we are with the plastic, turds out here, these torpedo turds flipping over on the roadways and everything going sideways and wrong. And guys are just driving overconfident that, nothing can go wrong. These guys are so inexperienced that by the time they flipped a few of these trucks or ditched them and what have you, or ran into, got in an accident, so they realize, you should be more up on your game and taking care of driving the truck. Yet, some will learn from lessons, others will not. They'll just keep going down that path. Tony Robbins has said it right. If going in one direction, trying to be successful at something doesn't work that way, try a different way. But don't keep this. Well, it didn't work, so I'm going to keep trying it again, same way, and the second time's a failure. And yet these people will keep doing that in life, and can't figure out why they can't succeed at something. And it's called critical thinking. When you have a mistake, and then you got to critically think about how you can do it different to be successful at it. And critical thinking is definitely thrown out the window on shit. But one thing about this truck stop, they got a lot of nice trucks coming through here. A lot of W9s. The classic, the Freightliner Classics XLs, which they now call Coronados, and Peterbilts. So a lot of good looking trucks. Even with the market downturn right now, seems like things are still bumping along pretty good. I stayed at last night. I stayed in Mineral Wells, West Virginia, at that TA truck stop, and there's a lot of good, nice looking trucks in there. A lot of guys parked there for the night. And where's this guy going? Backing up, but I don't know where, because there's a truck next to me and there's me, and it's like he's going to back up on this guy's truck because he's not my problem. So, and you'd say, well, why don't you get out and help him? I don't know what he's doing, but he's got a whole football field in front of him that he could have just did a pull up and back straight up, but got to be a foreign driver, because most of these guys like perpendicular backing in instead of just like, if your parking spot is, you got football field in front of your parking spot and you just pull up, back straight up. But no, I don't want to do that. I would rather just try to back up like I'm in downtown New York. So it's just like you can't fix the stupidity out here on any level. Commercial driving, personal vehicles. People are just downright stupid in this country, and there's no fixing it. It's definitely for sure. And then, as far as like driving conditions in the snow and ice, yeah, slow down, take your time. Um, for crimity's sakes, though, don't go like 25 miles an hour. I mean, you know what the truck can do, but if you're not confident enough to be out on an interstate with snow, then for all means, park the damn truck and get off the road because you're just a hazard then. And if the traffic can go 55 and you're out there doodling at 35 because you're just scared shitless, then I'd say, bail, park the truck. It's like that dude, and that's gonna fall back all the time. That dude up there at that little truck stop at the Virginia Kentucky line. He was from Haiti, and that Haitian got a CDL and got in with a company out of North Carolina. That guy was just shitting bricks and didn't know how to drive in snow. Coming from Haiti, never saw snow. Not that he can't drive in the snow because he's never seen it before. So if you've never seen it, how can you say you got experience being in it? But yet here we are bringing in these foreigners from countries that have never seen inclement weather like that. And it is just unbelievable. And the only thing I can say is maybe these guys need to run over a politician and their family before bureaucracy actually takes really strong hold on this stuff, because they just feel like, hey, the rest of the 90% of America is beneath us. So, that's the way they treat us. We're just plebs and we're just the bottom feeders. So, any more than, them entertainers, celebrities, whatever you want to call them, I don't acknowledge them. But yeah, the weather's been pretty shitty. Expect it to be pretty bad, and Miss Laura there in the chat saying I'm in for a rude awakening. So enjoy my little Bahama trip down here. I'm sure she'd love to be down here with me, but she dealing with our 3 dogs at home, and I can't have 3 dogs in this truck. That'll drive me bananas. They're already a handful at home. I can't imagine trying to travel and get from stop to stop. They're all seniors too, so they all have medical needs and all that. That's the problem when you start getting a senior dog. They don't become a good traveling companion anymore. Just being incontinent. They're pissing whenever they can, and medications and their food and all that jazz. So she deals with that, but it'll be our last set of dogs, probably the way I'm looking at it, until we're probably 25, 30 years down the road. I don't even know if I'd want to do that to a dog being 85, 90. So, yeah, this may be our last set of dogs. We're with her health and everything going on, we're just, it's a lot of commitment, and then you're pretty limited on how far you can go and travel and vacation and all that jazz. This dude is still backing up. Now they figured out to do the pull up and back straight in, but they can't seem to get the setup right. He's almost like he's backing in on this guy next to me on the driver's side here. So it is hilarious watching people at truck stops any more than watching people launching their boats at boat ramps, and or sit at the campground, have a stogie, and just watch people tear the shit out of their campers trying to back in between trees and that. We have watched so many people rip awnings off. We watched a person brand new fifth wheel and back it in and rip the back end open on theirs. We've seen them come in and the sidewall blew off up at the ranger station at the campground. We were going up to get some firewood. I'm telling you, man, it's hilarious to watch people that have got more money than brains, or that looks easy, I can do that, until they got to get in the trenches and get into the shit of it, and then realize, yeah, this is over my pay scale. So we I'd probably be cutting this short just because I screwed up all that time with the live stream. I'm probably going to stick with StreamYard till I figure out what I did there on Streamlabs. I wanted to use Streamlabs, but I'll take a look at it more. I don't know. I'm going to try. I should be home. If I don't have to go out, I should be home Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But if they're going to need me, they're going to need me. And I'll try to live stream and play around with Streamlabs a little bit more at home. So I appreciate y'all coming over and hanging out and catching this live stream. My apologies. I'm just playing around between StreamYard, Streamlabs. Just that way I can figure out where I want to buy a package into so I can bring you better content and extra stuff. This dude is struggling right now, and I probably would go out and get my hand. I don't know if this guy next to me even knows they're trying to back in. Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, I unloaded almost 2/3 of the trailer today. So, and then remember, me unloading means lift gate and unloading 200-pound pieces of equipment each. And each stop may get, today is like each stop was getting dozen to 2 dozen, 3 dozen pieces. So, yeah, we get a workout here. And it's not for the faint. So if you're just looking with our company, if you're looking just to come and hold the steering wheel, yeah, just keep stepping there, son. Get down the road. A lot of backing up, a lot of tight spaces you got to back these trailers into for a lot of our customers. And you may go out with one trailer and go out with 15 stops and get that done. And I've done 19 stops in one day, but most of them were like 20 minutes apart on average. But those were back in the day, and dealt with weather, snow, and all kinds of jazz. Doing that. And what did I have this week? This week I'm like 12 or 13 stops. Last week I was 15, and then New Year's week I had 16 stops, leaving on Sunday and being back Wednesday morning. So she got out and looked. It's a girl, so she's in a T680 trying to get that thing in. You'd think she'd have it she's straightened out. She should be able to see down each side of her trailer, just to slide it in now. I don't know. So yeah, other than Miss Laura, I screwed up this live stream, so I was hoping to have a good conversation and see what everyone's take was on the winter conditions, what you do to I want to say prepare. What do you do when there's a snow? We knew all that snow and cold was coming this week across the I-80 and I-90 and towards Chicago. So I just want to know what a lot of people do to get prepared for weeks like that when you head out. A lot, do you bring extra food, extra clothes? For me, I fueled up. And the thing to keep in mind is, for every gallon of fuel is about 8 pounds. So I put 120, Ryder put in 125 gallons today. So that's 1,000 pounds. So that's 1,000 pounds sitting on, right there straddled, right in front of your drive tires. So, extra traction, just things like that. And, so how long have we been on here? About 40 minutes. Yeah, I really shot myself in the foot on this live stream. So, but I appreciate it. I will get this tuned up and edited in the description and all that, and then we'll get things figured out. I'll probably chime in with you guys this week as I get back up north and see the Holocaust and mess of everything that's gone on, and what we may be up against. I'm sure they're going to utilize me for something because too many of the guys are struggling up there. One of them's got to go to the Upper Peninsula, unless the Mackinac Bridge is really bad and they've got so much accumulation of snow. Most of the time, the customers will call down and say, "Don't cross the bridge. Don't come up to the Upper Peninsula," because we have stops right along, all the way up along the Canadian border up there. And yeah, you're going to go up, and on these Cascadias, where the top of the mirror is, when you look out the window, I've seen where when they plow the city streets and that snow is piled as high as those mirrors. So you got to ease out, almost right out into the middle of the roads to see up and down the road. Sault Ste. Marie and some other places along, going out west of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And yeah, it gets deep up there. And I've had friends say there's times when they can't get to their cabin until June because the snow hasn't melted off yet up there. So it gets sketchy if it's a rough winter. Can't say, because the weather changes from where we stay in Grand Rapids to going up there is about a 3.5 hour drive once you cross the bridge. I've done that route quite a few times. I've done it in the winter, cold, butt ass cold as hell, and struggling to get through the snow where the lift gate won't even work, so you're hand unloading everything down to the ground. And I've done it in the summertime and just beautiful drive. But not for me though. I like it down here. This is definitely my cup of tea and in my wheelhouse. So liking it, loving it. So all right, folks. I am gonna whip up. Miss Laura whipped up some her homemade, not out of the pouch, but homemade hamburger with salsa. And because she made me homemade nachos, so I've got a good tub of that hamburger left. So I'm going to make some soft shell tacos and chill out tonight. Do some editing with this. But appreciate y'all being here. Like I said, I just playing around Streamlabs. I'm trying to find the platform I want to be on and buy a package into it so we can do more, be more the versatility of it to throw some stuff in there and all that. Obviously, I can't do it on a standard platform through YouTube. These give you a lot more options and gives your stream a better tune up and with the editing package in the Streamlabs, but I just haven't had time to play with it this week. So stay safe out there, folks, and continue educating yourself. Knowledge is learned, not taught, and we will see you all in the next video.